I'm not having life problems nearly the way that Cassie is, but we are a little bit pulled thin, and this episode was stressing me out.
Stressful. It was very stressful.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah,
but I was feeling.
Yeah.
The stakes.
It was a little long too. This one was over an hour. They're usually roughly 45 minutes.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching The Flight Attendant, Season 2, Episode 5.
Drowning Women.
I really liked this episode. I really liked the show. I am enjoying this season.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we are still building upon previous stuff. I don't want to say I called it, but the whole first 4 episodes, it did stick out to me. I'm like, yeah, she's like really hitting this year sober thing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, understandable. I wasn't like, she's lying. But there was a part of me that I was like, I mean, so you slip up like once. Do you really have to start over?
In the program, yes.
Well, we got there.
Yeah.
And it just like, man, it really, I don't know, it really hit me. I've like gone through this with a friend, and it's rough.
Yeah.
So I guess we can start with Megan.
Okay.
Hildegard. She left Brenda and drove to New Jersey.
She made it to New Jersey.
Got to New Jersey.
She's got papers. She's got like a passport,
sure.
so she could have made it on a plane.
She got to, probably, because she got a car at the end of the episode. She drove to Jersey.
Well, she took Cherry's car at the end of the episode. They traded.
Okay.
That's why she gave her that lot of money.
So to meet her friend Cherry, do we know who Cherry is or why? It's the one that she mentioned in the emojis.
Yeah.
Well, it was Isabella Miko.
Yeah.
I love her. We kind of talk about her a lot. It took me a hot second because of that wig. She was wearing a stripper wig and it didn't click, but she was fun. I just love that there's like a caliber of actress that they bring in for this show, even for like day players and stuff.
Anyone who was in a Killers video.
Even the Margaret Cho, and like we're going to get Sharon Stone next week, and Alana Ubach, and it's just like, and even the ones that aren't quite stunty, but it's like Jada. I love Jada so much.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's so funny.
She's amazing.
I think it's the open contempt.
She's really funny. Well, it's also, we see it, we and Cassie see it as open contempt, but also it's like she's just following the rules and saying the things she's supposed to say. And
doing her job.
Yeah,
like, I feel bad for Jada.
Competently doing her job in the
She has a 3-ring circus under her nose that she doesn't know is there.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And the same with Shane. I do find Cassie to be very challenging as a character. Mm-hmm. Although I haven't turned on her. That's something that the writing and Kaley manages to keep me sympathetic to her plight.
I do, though, think if she were my friend, she wouldn't be my friend anymore. No,
but because she's gonna lose Shane. I'm a little worried for Shane.
I'm not super worried for Shane as like death-wise. I'm not super worried for him death-wise, but I am worried that she is going to inadvertently blow up his life.
I mean, she's doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's like a slow motion car crash.
But like actually for real, because Shane could play that off as like she was so hammered and like we have this secret thing we do at the airline and like whatever.
So anyways, I insisted we were starting with Megan. So she needs a locked box. That's what she had all the evidence in.
Yeah.
And she needed to get it from Cherry, and there was some woman, I guess, was renting Cherry's house, and she had it. And it was a little convoluted, but it was worth it solely for this monologue that Megan gives in Cherry's defense, like in defense of being a stripper.
It was so funny.
It was so good. And it was longer than I thought it was going to be. I loved it. I was like, I need to memorize this. I loved it so much. And we did see her use the mushroom powder. She used a lot of it.
I'm surprised that woman wasn't dead.
Well,
yet.
But we did get to see the effects of what happens. It was a bit more of a psychosis.
Yeah.
I was expecting just really high, but she was running from something.
No, it's like extreme hallucinations.
Yeah.
I think it's more like acid than anything.
So, and then she bought Cherry's car, and it seems she's going to find her family.
Yeah.
We did pick up with Cassie post sleeping with Benjamin.
Yep.
She found he had taken out files on her, and they were answers to a psych evaluation. Is this the one that he's been trying to get her to come in and take?
No, she needs to do a debrief on Berlin.
Debriefing. Okay.
She had to take a psych eval before they would let her be a civilian agent or asset, I'd imagine. And so, but it's like she's claiming that it's not the answers that she gave, that they're trying to frame her from within the CIA.
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm trying to.
Given the previews for next week, now I'm leaning that Benjamin's dirty.
But they want us to if they put that in the preview for next week. So,
but I am leaning away from Dot. I love
how they're presenting Dot's character.
Yeah.
Especially in how she handles her job, because she's a woman, period. She's a woman of a certain age, period. She's a woman of a certain age in the CIA.
Yeah.
You know, government, all that kind of stuff is very traditionally a man's club. And I love the ways in which she exhibits her power over him and them, because she essentially catches Cassie sneaking out of his office. And she says as much to him. And he's like, well, you didn't see her coming out of my office. How could you know? And she's like, oh, right. It could have easily been one of the other offices. I love that she, with a straight face, just kind of like showed him how stupid his lie was.
Yeah.
But then
let him get away with it.
But just wanted to make sure she knew he was lying.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. I'm getting so much out of that because Cheryl, I made a comment about what a good comedian Kaley Cuoco was in this, and you were like, Kaley, and I was like, yeah, I mean Cheryl too, but you were like, they're very different styles. Yeah. And this is a bit more reserved for Cheryl Hines. I'm most familiar with her through Scrubs and then Suburgatory, and she was a very silly character on Suburgatory.
But I think she's actually like the straight man on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Is she? Okay.
Kind of. I've never
more
seen
like this.
I've never seen an episode, but when she scared Cassie at the beginning, that physicality that Kaley Cuoco did, where
at the elevator.
Hilarious.
I've said it before, but I was like, I think you can tell that she really watched Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Because she's a good 10 years behind.
Also, I mean, people like to throw this comparison around, but Lucille Ball, I mean, she's not fucking around.
Because she comes from sitcoms and she has a heightened of a sitcom-y style of acting, but she's translating to this very well.
Yeah.
And granted, it's a very heightened show, which I appreciate so much. I love this Mind Palace. I'm really into it. I love the other Cassies. I loved the just giant martini glass that she was pouring digital vodka into. Because let's be honest, Cassie drinks vodka martinis. She's not drinking Jen martinis with a twist. I know.
Oh.
Because Jen martinis are like the real, like the classy version. And vodka martinis are the trashy version.
And just say again for everybody what version you drink.
Yeah, that's me. With extra dirty. As much olive juice. I want it to be green when it comes out. I was really invested in her fall. And you just see it coming because she's
been coming since the opening episode.
Oh, no, I know. But it's like again, slow motion car crash because she's at Grace's house and she has very specifically not told Grace that she's sober. Because she wants the option open. And so she finally goes for it and just like, oh, God. So she called. Well, God, I even forgot. It opens up with her. She's word vomiting because it opens up with her breaking up with Marco. It
was good. Okay. He's got to go. He pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And it was also, I didn't realize that she only moved to California 6 months ago. So she met him immediately. They immediately got into a relationship the minute she moved to California. Red flags everywhere. He should know better as well. And
which is, I'm suspicious. And again, we hit once again that Max really likes him.
Yeah. He just was like, all of this stuff, you have been having a lot of work things. You have to explain to me what's happening. I can't believe you won't tell me what's happening. You can't leave until you tell me what's happening. And she was like, this is my sponsor. And he's like, you can't use AA bullshit on me. And I'm like,
but I'm at a place where I'm like, dude, where's your dignity?
Yeah.
Because she's not giving you, like, there's so many times where like
she's
people
barely
are like,
looking him in the eye. Even.
Yeah, but she's not even like, I promise I'll explain. Like, if you just give me like, because I think if you're in a relationship with a person and you're an adult and you have trust, we've said before, it's like you should be able to walk in to a room and have your significant other be in the room with a naked person and say, wait, let me explain. And if you're in an actual proper relationship, you say, okay. What is the explanation? And the thing is, she's not even doing the let me explain part.
She's not even trying because she doesn't want to be in this relationship. And as shiny, sparkly Cassie has said, it's boring. It's a boring relationship.
So she admits to sleeping with Benjamin.
Yeah. Well, she just says, I slept with someone.
Yeah. And how did that happen? And she literally blurts out, because I forgot about you. That's worse than because I wanted to hurt you.
Yeah, it really is.
And they cut to like Annie and Max with this Greek chorus where they were like, oh.
Because if you say, I just wanted to hurt you, then the other person can be like, well, they're a psycho. They were trying to hurt
Or I factor into your decision making, Brock.
But if I was specifically trying to hurt you, then for the rest of your life, you could say she's crazy. She was actively trying to hurt me. If I said, oh, I just forgot about you. No, you're right. It's way worse.
Because things are piling up. It's like, this show stresses me out more than like the teen shows, like Teen Wolf, where it's like they have to like fight monsters all night and then go to school and take tests. It's like,
they're not going to school.
This is real. So she has to go to this like class, this like safety class where Alana Ubach was getting Carol was getting way too much satisfaction being in charge, being in control. And Cassie told her off too. God knows if there's going to be any ramifications there.
Yeah, she's going to have to finish the course because she just walked out. But yeah.
I'm thinking now Jenny's a red herring.
Okay.
I'm thinking that it's actually just straightforward and
that she's just a little pathetic and her boyfriend sucks and she's obsessed with Cassie and that's it. Well, Cassie's already had many martinis by the time they run into each other at the liquor store, and Jenny's like, boyfriend, and she's like holding a bottle of whiskey and talking about her boyfriend, and Cassie successfully manages to get her to put the bottle of whiskey down and leave, and then she grabs 2 bottles of vodka and just starts chugging them immediately.
I even like vodka. It's just there's a kick the puppy quality to Jenny that hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
And I think that the show needs that type of stakes to go along with the heightened like espionage jet setting stakes.
Yeah.
So,
also, Davey is like serial texting Cassie.
So when it happened for a hot second, I was like, who the fuck is Davey? And then I was like, oh, right. Because there's so much happening.
I forgot about you.
There's so much going on. And so basically, she thinks someone at the CIA is trying to frame her
for these murders. Because her glove that she lost in Berlin was planted at the Echo Park Lake murders. And the CIA has pictures of that stuff in the file about Cassie Bowden. So,
and she has told Shane this, and he is open and receptive, but he's also doing both of his jobs and living his life.
Yeah.
And
with his boyfriend that looks shockingly like Kyle Mooney.
He was a little bit.
He was cuter, but I think Shane can do better.
And so she's told Shane about the viewfinder, but she can't give it to him because when Max and Annie were tied up by Esteban and Gabrielle, they stole the viewfinder?
They stole the viewfinder and they hacked Max's computer and took all of his files, including every nefarious person he's done business for, especially including Annie's old law firm. So
ramifications there.
Annie was right. They both were rightfully like pissed off. He found bugs and he was able to trace them back. So they followed it to the location. And then the rest of their story was not even breaking in, because I feel like they just like walked in and
he just sort of walked into the house and walked around it.
Yeah.
It was funny. I don't get Esteban and Gabrielle. There's something else to them.
There has to be something else afoot for sure. I'm with you on that.
Also, they literally, because they finally said it, and this, I don't mean this as offense or shade to any parties involved, but Annie was like, what's the appeal between these two? And I was like, right?
She was like, I don't get it. Do you get it? And Max was like, no.
And I kind of was like waiting for Gabrielle to kill him or something, or like Marco to walk in. I don't know. There was something about it that was real weird. And we did, I still, Max and Annie continue to be one of the best parts of the show. Yeah. I love Max so much.
They have such excellent chemistry, the two of them. It's so good. I think they're so fun.
It is. I'm a sucker for Screwball, and it is Screwball.
Plus, they're still dealing a little bit with the ramifications of like everything that happened before they got held up last week. And so, you know, she's sort of trying to sidestep it still a little bit.
Well, so I was going to say, they brought up the ring, and it was because we were confused by his response or his reaction last week.
I still find his response last week confusing.
Well, and this week he responded differently, and it was just as, I mean, it made sense. I understood it, but he was like, he wants the ring back because he tried really hard with it.
Yeah.
And
he took him months to pick it out. When she opened it, he saw her face.
He knew he had gotten it right.
Yeah.
So it matters. But that, I'm saying, I think she behaved that way.
I also think that they've like swapped sides now too, because she's like, who cares about the fucking ring? Like, he could have been killed if they found him, you know, wandering around their house. But now she's like, no, I don't care, even though she was to tears by the fact that she had lost it last week. And now this week, he is like to tears almost.
I don't mean to waste time on this, but it clocked both of us as strange.
Yeah.
I'm not anticipating a story-based explanation.
Well, not an explanation, but we are getting more story about it because Annie took the taser and put it in her purse. And I think she's going back in to like torture them.
I didn't understand that shot. Okay.
Yeah, I think she's like, well, you know what? I think once he explained,
I was also being attacked by a dog while this episode was happening, and so it was a disjointed viewing experience.
We have a new puppy, and she's super cute, and she's a humongous pain in the ass, especially while we're trying to watch stuff. But yeah, I think basically that's what's going to happen. She just was like, okay, because once he explained why he was so upset and obsessed about the ring, I think she was like, okay, well, we're gonna fix it. And
I feel like we're in a very Ross and Rachel, with like Rachel returning the gifts but keeping like the ticket stubs and the rocks or whatever. It's like he goes out of his way in certain ways that aren't completely in line with her ways, and it's very, very interesting.
Like, she just likes that he cooks for her and stuff, you know? And she's like, I don't need the shinies, but
they're also
the
just
shinies are important to him.
They're also just like, considering how crazy their plot is and all that, they're oddly stabilizing forces.
I love it. Yeah.
In this show that can get really...
Every time they are on screen, I feel better.
You can breathe a little bit better.
Well, neither one of them are like isolated paranoid alcoholics, so it's a lot more palatable.
Cassie bottomed out. I forget if I said she called Dot 400 times.
So she left so many voicemails. But also Dot was suspiciously not answering, so
after telling her that she can call her at any...
Where is Dot?
So then she drunk drove to the beach and
had a full meltdown.
Yeah, it was good. I was there. I got it. I was invested. I didn't actually get emotional, but I was a little close.
Yeah.
And Brenda shows up. I guess she called Brenda.
She texted her, yeah.
Brenda shows up and kind of let her have it.
Yeah. She was like, I was doing so amazing. And Brenda was like, girl,
oh, honey, no.
You were not.
It's interesting, you know, it's because we watch Euphoria, and then watching this, it's like, I find the sponsee relationship to be sort of fascinating because there is just this really unique balance of tough love and grace.
Well, I would even go further than tough love. Like, you have to be a dick sometimes. Like,
but you also have to be like extremely forgiving.
Yeah, Brenda but she was like, she had to be kind of a dick because she was like, Cassie, you're an idiot if you think you were holding on so
You're
great.
not back at square one. You never left.
You never left. You were always there. You were never doing it right because you're not being honest. And she's not being honest even with herself because she was just
didn't remember
forgetting
that
those 2 days in the middle.
That happens sometimes with people.
Okay.
Not me.
But she didn't like legitimately forget. She made herself forget. Yeah.
I have experience. I've played this game before. Because what was the significance? Did it matter? It was March 21st, March 23rd. And I remember they've said March 23rd a couple times because that's my mom's birthday. So it stuck out. Does it matter that it was March 23rd?
Probably just because also we found out now why someone left the bath upstairs in her mind palace. Because it was her.
It was
on one of those
days. She was drunk and almost drowned. And it was leaking, pouring over. It was overflowing.
There you go.
And Brenda admitted that she tried to kill herself. It was rough.
Yep.
Life's tough. It was very The Awakening. I read that in high school and got some mileage out of it. It goes back to the fucking Greek mythology in the Odyssey. One of them, well, Penelope survives, but one of them walks out into the ocean. And it's just sometimes.
Yeah.
So is there...
When we were watching Hereditary last night and you just were like, in the classroom, they started talking about Iphigenia, and you were like, oh, God.
Well, she was a human sacrifice.
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
But it made the gods angry.
Yeah.
So was there anything else?
That was mostly it. Next week, we are going back home to, like, they've written letters to their father, and then they're going to see their mother. I don't know that it's Sharon Stone, which is amazing. I just am not sure a cross-country trip is right for Cassie at the moment.
I think she might be having a bit of a resurgence, like
Sharon
a renaissance.
Sharon Stone's the tip.
She was weird. She really is. She looks amazing.
She looks great. I love her.
And but she looks her age. Because she had a particularly fun episode of Murderville.
Oh yeah, on
Netflix. Will Arnett's improv show Murderville. It was interesting. It was fun. I liked it. So, okay, I guess on that note, we will wrap this up, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully you liked and subscribed. The likes, apparently, I heard it time and time again. Like, Philip DeFranco was like.
Do the likes.
And so the likes help us, and I actually saw that our algorithm recommendations are, like, way up. Yay! So it's like we're getting recommended more frequently.
Thanks, guys. Keep it up.
We're trying to make money. So yeah, like and subscribe, all that, the links and stuff, and hopefully we see you next week.
Bye.